We are doing Nancy Drew Legend of the Crystal Skull Part 2. Once again, I added a little more light this time. Said play the game in the dark to optimize the experience, but it was a little too dark last time. And I also realized, I'm just going to fix this before we even start, some of the sound effects and music were like a little bit loud. So I'm just going to start off with this, then we'll go from here, see how it is. So I don't actually remember. Oh yeah, we called Bess, we switched places with Bess, so let's call Ned and get him up to speed.
Hello, Nancy?
Hey, Ned.
It's about time you called. Did you make it to New Orleans okay?
Yep.
Have you seen Henry?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure I like the way you said that. Is he okay?
He's fine. Well, he's the executor of his great-uncle Bruno's estate, which he's not real happy about. But he and his great-uncle weren't that close, so he's not grief-stricken or anything.
Well then, are you okay?
Other than being attacked on my way into Henry's house by a skeleton wearing a red ascot and getting knocked out by the smoke bomb he threw at me, I'm fine too.
What?
Let's just say that I've stumbled onto a mystery, and I'm not leaving till I solve it.
Why am I not surprised? Is Bess with you?
No, but she has been helping me.
So tell me about this skeleton man.
Well, it was someone in a costume, obviously. He or she was leaning over something in the great room when I walked in and surprised them.
So they threw a smoke bomb at you and ran?
Yeah, I must have interrupted whatever they were doing.
What were they leaning over?
A scale model of the cemetery next door. Henry says his great-uncle Bruno made it so he could keep track of who was buried there. Apparently, Bruno used to oversee the cemetery. And right near the scale model, I found a tracing of some kind of symbol. I'm thinking maybe Skeleton Man dropped it.
Why would Skeleton Man be interested in the scale model of a cemetery?
Good question. Maybe I'll take a real good look around in there and see if I can find out.
Good idea.
I'm still trying to figure out how you got to be friends with Henry.
Well, we're not best friends or anything. Heck, we're not really even friends. I just feel sorry for the guy. I mean, he never hangs out with anyone between classes, and when I'd heard there'd been a death in the family, I just wanted to make sure he was okay all by himself down there.
Don't worry, he's fine. Although I think he misses his parents a lot. I saw him out in the cemetery by what I think is their crypt. He seemed pretty upset.
I'm not surprised. I get the feeling that what Henry looks like on the outside is just the opposite of what he looks like on the inside.
You know, you're a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, I know.
Bruno Bolet's housekeeper Renee is still here, despite the fact that she and Henry don't really get along that well.
Why do you think she's staying on?
She says it's because Bruno paid her in advance.
But you don't believe her.
10% of Bruno's estate is supposed to go to her. Only she thinks, and with kind of good reason, that Henry's been selling off Bruno's assets on the sly. So it wouldn't surprise me if she's staying on so she can try to bust him.
What's this kind of good reason stuff?
I know for a fact that Henry sold a box of Bruno's things to a local curio shop.
So this Renee person isn't just being paranoid.
What this Renee person is freaky.
In what way?
She wanted me to drink some strange-looking concoction after I passed out from the smoke bomb, but she refused to tell me what was in it. And she wears this weird little pouch around her neck. Says what's inside it connects her to the energy that powers the universe.
She's probably harmless, but stay on her good side, just in case.
I don't know if she's totally harmless.
Nothing more to report.
Keep me posted. You got that?
Got it. Bye, Ned.
Bye, Nance.
Okay, so that's all we have to do. I don't know why the cab company is on here, but let's give them a call.
Due to current weather and road conditions, cab service to the greater New Orleans area has been temporarily suspended. We regret being unable to serve you at this time.
Alright, so we're not leaving this place. No, you have to stop. We were just outside. No, you take a little break. And of course, as soon as we come inside, she wants to go right back outside. We'll go out later. You stay inside for now. It's pretty cold outside too, so I mean, I'm not gonna just leave the door open. No. Come on, you go lie down.
Yes?
I'm afraid you're going to be stuck with me for a while.
Let me guess. Because of the big storm that's blowing in. Everyone in the city's freaking out and you can't get a cab.
Bingo.
Person at the bank told me. Just before she put me on hold for 2 hours. Oh, don't worry. We've got plenty of food here. Beds, candles. You're welcome to stay.
I'll stop bugging you now.
Whatever.
Where are we gonna stay? There's only one other room and it has like serious black mold issues. The only food I saw was like Cocoa Kringle Coke bars. We still have the key. Let's go back upstairs. I didn't see a kitchen in this place. I don't know where they make all their food. Oh, we have so many keys now. Okay, I think it's this key. Yeah. Let's go eat another Cocoa Kringle because we're gonna be here for a while. They look so good. I want one. I could probably.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Do I really want to eat another one of these? I don't think so.
Oh, we've reached our max. Darn. Well, I guess no more Cocoa Kringle for Nancy. I don't think I opened this drawer before, did I? Oh no, the paper was in here. So I think oh yeah, it was hiccup powder. Hold on just 1 second here. It's like I gave my dog a treat, but there are like layers in the box to keep unraveling or keep. Like there's a whole layer of treats and then another, like a little piece of paper in between each layer for some reason. And we got to the new layer, so I put the old piece of paper in the garbage. That separates them, and yeah, she seems very interested in the garbage can. No garbage can. But I don't think she realizes that she should not eat the paper. Just the treats. Okay, so where were we? Oh yeah, we have this like Bara-do-zoo thing. And then we have the box that we opened, a door, a doll, and a bed. This is all that we can do in this room, I think, for now. I have a feeling we're going to have to do something with this later. Or at least what we've already done with it. We can triple check this other room here. I don't suspect there's anything. I didn't see a whole lot to do in this room. I think there's like a hidden door here though. I see some outlines. There's the door that we came in, and then there's a bed. So, to my knowledge, the upstairs is clear. What else do we have down here? We have all these photos. Cannot do anything with it yet, but that's okay. There's nothing we can click over here. Fireplace, trees, bench, photo. I mean, I've already done this. I'm just triple checking. Sometimes I miss things, and also in the dark spots, I cannot see things. We finished this game. We can't even click on it anymore. Oh yeah, we have this big book. I don't know why or what we need to do with it. It's here. We haven't used it yet though, so keep that in mind. I already forgot. We opened up the box here. We clicked on all the other little things. I don't think there's a whole lot to do in this room either. So maybe everything we have to do is outside or with Bess. There are no drawers here. Oh, there was this clock though. Can we stick the eyeballs in the clock? No. We finished all the paintings already. What's this one? Oh yeah. That's the box. We have a mango. more paper, more charcoal, this key to get outside. I remember there were some books in here that I don't think we read through everything. Coda, no. All done. Go lie down. See, because as soon as I stand up to go let her out, she's not going to want to go out. She's just going to want to stand there with the door open. You can't. You gotta take a break. I will say that with the cooler weather, she's had a lot more energy, which is great. We went on a huge walk right before this, so I'm surprised she's still going. I thought she'd be exhausted at this point. But yeah, with the cooler weather, lots more energy, so I mean, I feel it. Oh yeah, so we cannot do anything with this, and I don't know what we have to push yet, so we will hold off on this corner. Oh, we couldn't look at this before.
What was that?
That was Uncle Bruno's pet iguana, Iggy. He's always in here stealing paper. He must be using it to build a nest or something. Look, I had all those books arranged so they fit perfectly in that box. Put them back in, okay? I don't have time.
I just want to look through this one book.
Go right ahead. After you put all those other books back.
Coda, no. All done. All done. Okay, so Iggy the Iguana. Interesting name. Very cute though. Can we turn the books around? Okay, we can't turn them around, so it's one size fits all. Like if it doesn't fit this way, it's not fitting any other way. Let's see what else we got. We got big book. I'll take this out for a minute. Let's just kind of... Oh, that book actually matches the other one, so that's fairly easy. What fits in this one? Bingo. We're on a roll. Wow. Crushing this. Imagine we just get this first try. Bingo. That's a perfect little square now. Oh. I sense a problem though. Hey. Hey. Look. You go lie down. And then we got a skinny book and a fat book. Hey, look at this. First try. The Crystal Skull, Fact or Fable by Professor Hotchkiss. We met her on the train. That's who it was, right? I know. You just want to play. But we already played. I want to go outside. Okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to see if she wants to go out. I'll be right back. Want to go outside? Go outside. Okay, well, she did go outside, so I give it about 10 seconds. Oh. No, she's going on a little adventure. Okay. Maybe she really did want to go outside. Maybe just, chill out in the cool. Or she's going to go be naughty. So, The Crystal Skull, Fact or Fable by Beatrice Hotchkiss. I wonder if Nancy will write down the phone number. Let's see. I'm sure she will. We haven't had to actually type out a number yet. Worst case, we'll come right back to the book, write down the number. So, an overview. One of the most ancient and widespread legends known to humankind can be summed up thusly. Scattered over the earth are 13 humanoid skulls carved out of pure crystal. At some point in the future, fate will bring the 3 skulls together and they will speak, imparting wisdom that will save the human race from annihilation and usher into a golden era of peace and enlightenment. There are several versions of this legend. In one, the skulls were created by the Mayans, Incas, or Aztecs, and collectively form a repository of information detailing how and why humans came to be. Another legend credits their creation to an extraterrestrial who seeded the earth with human race and left the skulls behind to explain their actions at some point in the future. Yet another contends the skulls are ancient in the origin, but more important that each skull is somehow magical in and of itself. The distinctive gift they offer and the owners reputably include precognition, clairvoyance, telekinesis, and of course immortality. Some variations combine all of the above. What is most indisputable and intriguing about the general legend is its smaller, colorful variations, is that several mysterious crystal skulls have indeed been discovered in the past millennium, turning up in all corners of the earth. What follows is an examination of everything that is currently known about these skulls in hopes of separating the facts from their existence from the fantasies of human imagination. The Whisperer is the one that someone, Bess maybe, was talking about. So the Whisperer, the first documented reference to the crystal skull known as the Whisperer, came in 1532. Shortly after Hernando de Soto helped Francisco, look at that later, Pizarro ambush and capture the Incan Emperor Atahualpa. Oh, I'm butchering that, man. At the Battle of Cajamarca. Oh, I'm so sorry. De Soto aide-de-camp, while updating the De Soto's expedition records, noted that during that person's subsequent imprisonment, De Soto befriended the Incan ruler. In time, that person told Soto a secret. He possessed an exquisitely detailed, life-size human skull the ancient ones had carved out of pure, clear crystal. He happened upon it at a hut of deceased high priest, who astonishingly, I know what it says, but I can't read it. Advanced age had caused his fellow priests, out of fear and jealousy, to slip him a fatal dose of poison. They took the fancy skull and kept it, and soon realized that the skull, which he contended would sometimes whisper to him in an unearthly voice using unfamiliar words, was giving him immunity to all human ailments. As long as he possessed the skull, he would live forever. Ooh. But like the priest told him, and like everyone who possessed the particular skull after him, soon discovered that while the skull could perhaps protect him from ravages of time and nature, it was no match for the treachery of his fellow man. To De Soto's great surprise and dismay, Pizarro had him executed. Although there are no mention of the skull in De Soto's records, it is highly doubtful that the Spaniard would have left such a treasure behind when he returned to Europe in 1536. Indeed, the next documented reference to the crystal skull, which that person seems to have inevitably bequeathed to De Soto, came in the letter written by the nobleman in the court of Filstu, the member of Austrian Habsburg. The family who took the Spanish Empire in 1566. While a guest in the Habsburg palace in Vienna, the nobleman mentioned encountering a crystalline head of death, which a manservant swore made utterances strange and low, too terrible for the ear to bear. Apparently, the skull then made its way to France, most likely via Anne from Austria, who married the king 1615, because the next reference to the death head, carved from the remarkably clear crystal, can be found in the manifest of the ship belonging to René Robot, Cavalier, Sieur de la Salle, a French explorer who in 1684 was preparing for a journey that would take the skull, ironically, back to the New World from which it had come. The fact that La Salle took the skull with him on his expedition to colonize the Mississippi River Valley suggested that he may have been aware of its reputation for, and this is the person, reputation for conferring immortality upon its owner. But once again, his real enemy proved not to be age nor disease, but a fellow man. A group of men stranded in what is now Texas after the expedition landed in the wrong place and antagonized the local Native Americans, eventually mutinied and killed LaSalle so they could abandon their mission and head for the relative safety of France outposts in Canada. The Whisperer, however, appears to have been left behind and didn't reappear until almost 200 years later. The photo to the right, found in the basement of the library in Jonesboro, Arkansas, suggested that by 1881, the person in Crystal Skull had found itself in the hands of a traveling hucksucker who apparently used it to lure. So this picture was from July 17th, 1881. Curtis Caldwell, Cure and Curiosities. The Whispering Skull, Wonder of the Ancient Incan World, Inquire Inside. So he apparently used it to lure potential patrons to his wagon so he could sell them various bombs and elixirs. If he had the same Curtis Caldwell who, according to the census records, settled in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, he lived and worked to the ripe old age of 93, dying only when a dissatisfied customer set fire to his house in a fit of anger. If the Whisperer was Caldwell's house, it no doubt survived the fire. But exactly what happened to it next proved impossible to discern, and its current whereabouts is a mystery. But what is known about the skull's previous owner could prove very useful in solving that mystery. For all the people who had possessed it and who had two things in common, they lived for an unusually long time, and they always, without exception, met the death at the hand of another. In other words, the trail that leads to the discovery of this particular crystal skull will likely become one that begins with murder. Everyone wants a crystal skull. So what is this that we picked up? Little dots, TBFM-LHAPU. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is yet, but I'm sure it's going to come in handy for finding a crystal skull. Interesting. So we met Izzy, we have the new books, and all this background knowledge about the crystal skull. I wonder if Henry knows anything about it. Were there any more books over here? Yeah, no, Henry doesn't, because he sold a box that was specifically for the crystal skull. Let's see what he's got to say.
Yes?
Alright, he said, how did Bruno die?
How did Bruno die, if you don't mind my asking?
Just dropped dead in the front hallway. I mean, the guy was 95 years old. Here, check it out. Myocardial infarction. That's doctor speak for heart attack.
Attending physician Dr. Gilbert Buford, 504-555-9970. Was that Bruno's doctor?
And his best friend, or so I'm told. I've never met him.
Interesting keychain.
That's one of Uncle Bruno's glass eyes. It's the one he was wearing when he died.
How nice.
Anything else?
I'll stop bugging you now.
Sounds good.
Alright, so we're going to have to get him to leave at some point again. Maybe he'll go cry again, because we need to get that eyeball off the keychain. So he died at an old age unexpectedly. Maybe not murder, but still died. Oh yeah. Limes and Coconut by Sid Zest, 543. My Eye and Other Tall Tales. Not Now, Not Ever. Prudent Living, a Memoir. Bridges to Nowhere. The Camel and the Needle's Eye. The Cat's Eye. Cavities and Their Prevention. Ooh, I don't know what we have to do with this yet, but seems to be related to the eye. Eye candy, finding fish, finding fake eyes, turning a blind eye. Not sure what we have to do with it yet, but it's going to come in handy, I'm sure. Can we click on any of these books? I don't think I saw... No. What about this cabinet? Anything? Oh yeah, we got the eyeball out of this. Is there anything there? No. Let's go talk to the woman again. What's her name? Renee?
Hello again. Did Dr. Bollé ever say anything to you about a crystal skull? He may have referred to it as the Whisperer.
No, he never so much as mentioned a crystal skull, whispering or otherwise.
Were you in the house when Dr. Bollé passed away?
I was indeed. I was in the library cleaning when all of a sudden I heard a big thump. I hurried out to investigate, and sure enough, there was Dr. Bollé lying by the front door. And as I rushed over to him, the door opened and in walked Gilbert Buford. He took one look at Dr. Bollé and hollered at me to call 911, so I ran back into the library and did just that. When I came back out, Gilbert was leaning over Dr. Bollé, listening for breathing, I suppose, and then he started pushing up and down on his chest, but it was too late. Even I could tell that Dr. Bollé was gone.
What was he doing by the front door?
I assume he saw Gilbert coming and was going to open the door for him. Not that there was any need. As you yourself discovered, people around here seldom lock their front doors during the day. But you know, in the back of my mind, I have always wondered about Gilbert Buford showing up at the door at that exact moment.
I understand that Dr. Bollé had some interesting pets, like an iguana.
That man never met a creature he didn't like. He'd train them to do all kinds of silly tricks, then let them run free, inside the house as well as out.
Do you know how he went about training them?
I surely do not. Don't get me wrong. I liked Dr. Bollé, I truly did. But I swear, sometimes his activities made as much sense to me as bathing in a bayou full of gators.
Nice talking to you.
Come see me anytime.
Alright, I forgot that we have to call... Hey, we can call them in the rain. Why not? Let's call first Dr. Gilbert. See what he's got to say.
This is Dr. Gilbert Buford's answering service. How may I help you?
I need to talk to Dr. Buford. Could you maybe give me a number where I can reach him?
No, ma'am, I cannot. Is this an emergency?
Sort of. I mean, it's not a medical emergency. See, I'm only going to be in town for a short time, and Dr. Buford and I have this mutual friend who died recently, and I just really need to talk to him about it.
Need some consoling, huh?
Yes, I need some consoling. That's it exactly.
Well, tell you what, it's against the rules to give you his phone number, but I can tell you that now that he's all but retired, Dr. Buford spends most of his evenings at his favorite gumbo stand down in the French Quarter. If you really need to talk to him, you can probably find him there.
Great. Do you know the address?
It's at the corner of Rampart and Domain.
Did you say Rampart and Domain?
I did indeed. Granny Pumpkin's Cajun cooking. They make some darn fine gumbo.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and I'm truly sorry about your loss.
My loss?
That mutual friend of yours and Dr. Buford's?
Oh, right. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Bye.
Alright, so it sounds like we're going to need to get Bess to get on that. Before we do that, let's just talk to Professor Hotchkiss first. Get that out of the way.
Yes, hello?
Hi, my name's Nancy Drew. Is this Professor Hotchkiss?
I am she, Nancy Drew. Your name has a ring to it. Do I know you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we met a little while back in Wisconsin.
Oh, yes, you were the delightful young lady doling out the samples in the tasting room of that cheese factory. Yum, yum.
No, I met you at Wickford Castle.
That's ridiculous. There was no cheese tasting room at Wickford Castle.
No, we were both guests there. I found a journal written by Marie Antoinette, which you translated. Remember?
Thanks to you, suddenly all I can think about is how wonderful a nice big slab of Colby cheese would taste right now. Listen, Mandy, I'm on a deadline, so if you could please just tell me why you called.
But my name isn't...
Deadline! Let's cut to the chase, shall we? Chop, chop.
Did a man from New Orleans named Bruno Bollé ever call you?
Ah, now there's a name you can remember. Bollé. Nice and French. I'm a scholar of French history, you know.
Yes, I know. So did Bruno Bollet call you?
Indeed he did. Oui, oui.
I thought she was the one from the train on the game that we played, but that was, I think, like Chantal something. Not Hodgkin. But she's from the Royal Tower game, I think. Whatever that one's called. Treasure in the Royal Tower. We should play that one next after this.
Why did he call, if you don't mind my asking?
Because he had read my book, of course. The Crystal Skulls. Fact or fable, one of my best efforts. Sold like hotcakes, smothered in a rich, tangy lemon sauce.
Did he say anything about owning one of the skulls himself?
I would have hung up on him straight away if he had. I tell you, Brandy, if I had $1 for every crackpot who's called claiming to own one of those skulls, I'd be able to dine at the Russian tea room every evening for the rest of my life. All right, that's a bit of hyperbole, but you get the picture. No. If memory serves, we talked mostly about the skull called the Whisperer. He wanted to know if I had learned any more about it since my book was published, which I hadn't, or if I had any theory as to what happened to it, which I didn't.
And that was the extent of your conversation?
Well, now, let me think. My, such insatiable curiosity, Nellie. You remind me of someone I encountered on one of my journeys. But for the life of me, I cannot remember her name or the circumstances.
Nancy Drew? Wickford Castle?
Ah, the eyes have it.
I'm sorry?
That's what Bruno Bollet said when I turned the tables and asked him if he had any idea where the Whisperer was. He said, the eyes have it. Then he chuckled and hung up.
I wonder if he means the eyes, not the eyes.
How much would a crystal skull like the Whisperer be worth?
In this crazy day and age, where the shorn hair and used tissues of celebrities get sold for thousands of dollars, there's absolutely no telling, Candy. $500,000 easily. Maybe even $1 million. Maybe 2. Maybe 10. The sky's the limit. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
If someone found a skull made of crystal, how could they be sure it's one of the crystal skulls?
Wonderful question, Francie. How indeed? Because there are sure to be thousands of fakes out there. Perhaps tens of thousands. But remember, the real skulls were made long before the tools commonly used for carving today were invented. Which means, let's put on our thinking caps.
Modern-day tools would have left marks if the skull was a fake?
Exactly so. Mind you, the marks on a good fake would be microscopic and thus imperceptible to the human eye. However, any thorough laboratory analysis would quickly unmask a counterfeit.
So the only way to prove that a skull is the real deal is by proving it's not a fake?
And by examining its provenance, its history of ownership. If it can be shown that a particular specimen has been passed along from antiquity into modern times and didn't just suddenly appear in, say, Germany in the mid-19th century, that would tend to support its authenticity as well.
The idea that the Whisperer can make its owner immortal, do you believe that?
I believe that things that defy any so-called rational explanations happen all the time, Nessie. Now, does that mean there are mysterious external forces at work in the universe of which we do not and cannot ever have full knowledge? Or does it all boil down to us? If the human heart desperately wants something to be true, does the human mind have the power to make it true? Who knows? Oh, questions, questions, questions. Oh, how dreary life would be without them.
In your book, you said that all the people who've ever owned the Whisperer were murdered, yet Bruno Bollet dropped dead of a heart attack.
Are you saying the Whisperer was in his possession after all? The scallywag! Why didn't he tell me that? Oh, that's right, I would have hung up on him. Well, if that's the case, then I strongly suggest you take a close look at his so-called heart attack, Sandy. Because if he owned the skull and he died, I guarantee you it was at the hands of someone else. Or my name's not Beatrice Gertrude Winifred Hotchkiss.
That's it for now.
Toodaloo!
All right. That's very interesting. Let's save it just so we don't have to talk again. Let's switch spots with Bess and talk to the doctor.
Hello?
Hi, Bess, it's me.
So what's been happening? Tell me everything.
Well, let's see. Since the last time we talked, I was just about getting ready to...
Interesting stuff.
But the reason I called is I need you to talk to this doctor named Gilbert Buford, who, as it turns out, likes to hang out at a gumbo stand called Granny Pumpkin's Cajun Cookin', which should be right across from our hotel.
You just want me to talk to him? That's it? Nothing nefarious? No black ops stuff?
He was Bruno Bolet's doctor, and apparently his best friend, too. I just need for you to see if he thinks there was anything weird about the way Bruno died.
What do you mean by weird?
I mean, I kind of think maybe Bruno was murdered.
Murdered? By whom?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Everyone's a suspect at this point.
Including this Gilbert Buford guy?
Well,
Great, I'm gonna be chatting up Jack the Ripper.
oh, I'm sure the guy's fine, but be subtle, just in case.
Well, I can see the gumbo stand from our balcony. If he's the guy that's sitting down there, I guess he looks harmless. Okay, I'll go talk to him.
Thanks, Bess. Let me know what happens.
Cheerio!
All right. Here goes nothing.
Why, hello, young lady. How kind of you to grace an old man with your lovely presence.
My name's Bess Marvin. I'm looking for Dr. Gilbert Buford.
Well, it's a pleasure to report that I am he.
Do you mind if I join you?
Of course not. A little lively discourse would brighten this gloomy evening considerably. This here is my favorite spot in the whole city. Delicious gumbo, pleasing view, particularly now, I might add.
I'd like to ask you some questions about Bruno Bolet, if that's okay.
I'd prefer subject matter of a happier nature, but I do not want to seem inhospitable, so what is it you want to know?
Is it true that Dr. Bolet was your best friend?
Well, now, I was certainly his best friend, but I cannot honestly say that he was mine. Fact is, while socializing with my fellow man, particularly with pretty young women such as yourself, has always been a source of pleasure for me, Bruno was just the opposite. Unfortunately, the older he got, the more numerous his idiosyncrasies became, and the less concerned about their negative effect upon others he became.
His idiosyncrasies didn't bother you?
Now, as a doctor of medicine, I am not only accustomed to dealing with the abnormal, but I find that I am actually drawn to it. I, for one, thoroughly enjoyed Bruno's outlandish personality, although at the same time I fear it may have played a role in his demise. You see, he died of a myocardial infarction, most likely caused by age-related atherosclerosis. Dying of a heart attack is all too common for people who are socially isolated, and Bruno Bolet had most certainly become that.
Dr. Bolet's housekeeper says you just happened to walk in just as he was having his heart attack. Is that true?
Indeed it is. I hadn't seen him for a while, so I picked that day to pay him a visit. I walked up to the front door, found it unlocked as usual, opened it, and there he was, lying on the floor in obvious distress. The next thing I know, his housekeeper came running in and started shrieking and carrying on, until finally I sent her out of the room so she could summon an ambulance, and I could once again hear myself think. Then let's see. Then I knelt down and saw that he wasn't breathing. So I pulled him away from the doorway so I'd have more room to work on him and began chest compressions. I continued until the medics arrived, but nothing they did made a difference either.
Why would he have a heart attack in the foyer?
That's always been a bit of a puzzlement to me, too.
Can you remember anything that might indicate what he was doing by the front door? I mean, Had he just come in from a walk? Was he wearing a hat? Was he holding anything? Had he dropped something? An umbrella? Sunglasses?
Wait a minute. Why, yes. Yes, he was holding something. A piece of paper. And on the floor next to him was an envelope. He must have collapsed while reading a letter.
Do you know what happened to it?
Now, I know the letter was no longer in Bruno's hand when the paramedics arrived, so perhaps he released the letter when I moved him. And yet, I do not recall seeing it on the floor when they wheeled him out the door. Iggy.
What's Icky?
Iggy. Iggy is an iguana Bruno befriended, then turned loose in his home. It soon developed the annoying habit of stealing paper and stockpiling it in the vent system.
Are you saying an iguana made off with the letter Bruno had been reading?
It would not have been the first time a missing document ended up in Iggy's possession. Renee would periodically call me saying the lizard had absconded with one of Bruno's prescriptions and would I please write her up a replacement. In any case, Bruno once told me he was training Iggy. Said he taught Iggy to retrieve the things it had stolen.
Do you think it's possible that Renee caused Dr. Bollet's death by, say, hoarding the pills from those missing prescriptions and giving them to him all at once?
No.
Oh my God.
Had he died of an overdose of the medications I had prescribed, the manner of his death would have been quite different. But he died of a heart attack. Of that I am certain. However, I know for a fact that Renee is deeply involved in the practice of hoodoo. And as Bruno's housekeeper, she had ample opportunity to use it against my poor old friend.
You mean hoodoo really works?
Young lady, never, ever underestimate the power of suggestion. If a person believes in something, even on a subconscious level, fantasy can easily become fact. And who knows what rubbish Renee filled Bruno's mind with? Drink this, don't eat that. This brings good luck, that brings bad, day in and day out. Even if he said he didn't believe a word of it, who knows how much his subconscious was absorbing? He was very old and vulnerable. So could Renee have caused Bruno to have that fatal heart attack? There's not a doubt in my mind she could indeed.
Did they do an autopsy on Dr. Bollet?
No. Given Bruno's advanced age and the absence of any indication of foul play, an autopsy was deemed unnecessary, and the body was cremated according to Bruno's wishes.
Did Dr. Bollet ever say anything to you about owning a crystal skull?
Why, yes. Yes, he did. In fact, he showed it to me once. Said it had magical powers. Said owning it was going to allow him to live forever. I thought it was utter nonsense and told him so. Well, he didn't appreciate that at all. Refused to talk to me for a full 2 weeks.
Do you have any idea where he kept it?
No. He was terrified that someone would steal it from him, so he told no one its location. Not even me. Tell me, Miss Bess, what do you know about that crystal skull?
This friend of mine, who is also a friend of Henry Bollet, Dr. Bollet's great-nephew. Anyway, while she was visiting Henry, she saw this book in Bruno's library about the legendary crystal skulls and was kind of intrigued and thought that since Henry said that you were pretty much Bruno's only friend, maybe Bruno had said something to you about it, and as it turns out, he had. That's all I know.
I see. Well, much as I'd like to believe that skull holds the key to immortality, I'm afraid Bruno's passing proves it's worthless. Although it would make an attractive paperweight, as I recall. Tell your friend not to give it another thought.
Guess I'll be running along.
Good night.
Interesting. So it does exist. Somewhere probably on the property. Let's see if this guy is good now.
Sneeze, lady. What's going on?
That gumbo stand outside? What do you think? Is it pretty authentic?
Outstanding! Just watch the hot sauce. Whatever's in it gives my stomach instant fits.
Us too. We were like blowing fire out our nose.
In all your journeys through the wonderful world of junk, have you ever come across one of those legendary crystal skulls?
What makes you ask that?
You have so many other oddities in here, I was just wondering.
No. I know the legend, of course, and I sure wouldn't mind getting my hands on one of those babies. I mean, I could sell it for a fortune. But no such luck. Funny. I've been thinking about those skulls lately. A lot.
Really? Hey, maybe we got some kind of psychic thing going here. Quick, think of a number between 1 and 10 and I'll try to guess it. You thinking of a number? Okay, 4.
9.
Darn. Guess it was just a coincidence.
Guess so.
There's a man sitting at the gumbo stand outside named Gilbert Buford. Do you know him?
We're not close personal friends or anything, but I certainly know of him. Comes from one of the wealthiest and most prominent families in New Orleans. And on top of all that, he's a doctor. Guy's gotta be rolling in dough. Must be nice, huh?
Yeah. Doctor's got it. Money.
Maybe I'll have another look around in here.
Enjoy!
Interesting. So, he doesn't know of any crystal skulls, but doesn't mean that they aren't here. I wonder if our contraption is still up. Oh, we can't even click on it anymore. All our hard work. Can't even look at it again. There.
Yo!
Maybe I'll have another look around in here.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, let's go back outside then, I guess. We can triple check that nothing else this guy has to say before we switch
How
back
may
over.
I be of service?
Oh, he got the gross one too. He didn't get the jambalaya.
Thanks for your time.
It's been a pleasure, I assure you.
Let's go get one more meal just because we're here. Looks
Can
so
I help
good.
you?
Let's get some jambalaya.
Eat up.
Yum yum. And just because we have like unlimited money, it
That
seems,
was yummy.
let's get gumbo.
A bowl of gumbo, please.
Dive in.
Put some hot sauce on it. And eat on up. Yum. And we'll get the last
Enjoy.
one just because why not? Okay, so I guess all we can do now is call Nancy back. Yep. Let her know what the guy said.
Hello?
Hi, Nance. Okay, here's what's been happening at my end.
And that's pretty much it.
Good work. I'll take it from here. Thanks again.
Good luck. Bye.
Hello again.
I'll see you later.
Come see me anytime.
Okay, so we can triple check that there's no paper on the ground. Iggy was here and then ran this way. We're gonna have to find out where the lizard goes. Maybe Henry knows how to find Iggy.
Yes?
No.
I'm going to keep looking around.
Groovy.
Okay, well, let's go look on the ground, see if there's any paper at the front entrance. I don't see anything.
That's the front door, but I'm not leaving until I figure out what Mr. Skeleton Man was up to.
Okay. Let's call Ned once more.
Hey, Nancy. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Meaning...
Are you familiar with the legend of the so-called crystal skulls?
Is that where aliens supposedly scattered a bunch of perfectly formed crystal skulls all around the world like thousands of years ago? And all the skulls have different magical powers?
Something like that, yeah. Apparently Henry's uncle was the proud owner of the Whisperer, the skull that was supposed to make whoever owned it live forever.
Only now he's dead and another superstition bites the dust.
Maybe, maybe not. See, this book I found in Bruno's library said no one who has owned the Whisperer has ever died of natural causes.
So how did they die?
They were all murdered.
Come on, you don't believe that crystal skull stuff is true, do you?
I'm not sure what I believe yet. But right now, what I think doesn't matter, The people who knew Bruno had the skull, if one of them believed in the Whisperer's power, they may have figured the only way they'd ever be rid of Bruno was to cause his death.
But didn't he die of a stroke or something?
Heart attack.
Well, there you go. Natural causes.
Heart attacks can be induced.
You've been watching too many of those forensic detective shows.
That may be, but what's really interesting is the skull is missing.
That is interesting.
And I'll bet you anything that's what my bony friend in the red ascot was looking for.
Does Henry know where the skull is?
I haven't gotten around to asking him about it yet. But if that skull is still around here, I intend to find it.
I kind of figured that.
Bruno Bolet's doctor, Gilbert Buford, was apparently Bruno's best friend as well.
Think Bruno told him about the skull?
Yes, in fact, Dr. Buford told Bess that Bruno showed it to him once. But apparently he told Bruno the skull was bogus, and Bruno got a little ticked off. Never showed it to him again.
Well, when it comes to murdering someone and making it look like a heart attack, a doctor's got to be right up there when it comes to suspects.
Don't worry, I've been thinking the same thing.
So what else is going on?
That's about it.
Call again, okay? Soon.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
Nancy even said she hasn't gotten around to asking Henry yet. We literally just talked to Henry and he didn't want to talk to us, so how can we ask him?
Yes?
I'll check back with you later.
Groovy.
Okay, what can we still do? And there's a whole bunch of stuff outside. I guess we can go explore outside again, because I don't really know what to do at this point. Let's see. Go get another mango.
One loquat's all I need right now.
Loquat? Okay. I don't know what the loquats are for. Oh yeah. Let's see. Maybe this is the music note. Where was it, this thing? Oh, those are not music letters. T, F, no. Okay, so we have to find something. Some sort of music notes. Some sort of something or other. What else? Let's go the opposite way, because we've already gone this way. So, we also don't know... We don't know yet. Oh, okay. It's challenging. We have a lot of open ends. But I don't know what to do with a lot of them. We got some more herbs. What else? I know we went this way already, but we came from the other way, so I'm just going to triple check we're not missing anything. I don't think so. I don't know if there's a point of us going through all these places again, because we've already looked at everything. Yeah, I think we have to find Iggy. But how? The one thing is that, like, we have the little books over here, but I don't quite know what these are for yet. And we also have the clock in the hallway. But I don't know. I don't know if we have the clues. I'll read my notes quickly first, just to double check that we're not missing anything. Oh, come on. There we go. I clicked off the screen, sorry. So we can only change the hour. Okay. What do our notes say? So the doctor thinks that Iggy took the note. The letter could have caused his heart attack, but we have to find the note. Maybe he was murdered. We have to find Iggy. There's a little curio shop. And there's the box with the skull. Renee thinks that there's a... What's the word? Maybe the crystal skull is in the wall, if it's like, if the wall is talking to her and the crystal skull talks to people. Keep finding glass eyeballs everywhere. There's the smoke bomb skeleton man. Okay. So we really don't have anything that was going to help us here. I wonder if we can look in the wall. Maybe we can pull the paper back and see what's behind the wall. Find the crystal skull right here now. Let's see. No, nothing. I think that was everything that was in the bucket as well. Can we go in here? No. Here? No. That was just the book. Is that all that's in there? Yeah, just the book. A little pouch of something or other. And the creepy doll. You know, I'm actually, once again, not sure where to go from here. That's okay though. We got a lot of conversations done. We got a lot more intel. I wonder how we can open up this door in this room now. Because it's definitely a door, right? It's gotta be. Maybe we need a magnet or... Yeah, there's not a whole lot in this room to play around with. I just don't know. Okay, you know what? Let's take one more look at this. I think we got everything. We opened this up already. We got the tree. The lights. I'm just going to triple check that there's nothing else that we can click on. Oops, we already clicked on this a few times. Oh yeah, there was an eyeball in there. So as far as I can tell, we are done with the little mini bone. Sleeping Meadows. It's kind of cool. I will say it is pretty cool how there's a miniature model of everything that is outside. But I really don't think we're going to get any more information out of this. Yeah. Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to save the game. We're going to take a break here. It is stretch time, so if you're sitting down, get up, take a little stretch. Supposed to get up every half an hour. And next time we come back, I think we're going to try to... I don't even know. Might call Professor Hopkins again. Maybe go through all the conversation just in case. Try to figure out how to get into the clock, how to find Izzy. Maybe Henry wants to talk to us finally about the crystal skull. And worst case, if none of that works to get us going forward, we'll have to go through the whole cemetery again, make sure we didn't miss anything. So we got lots in store and lots, well, maybe not a lot if I can't figure it out, but there are, I mean, we're just at the tip of the iceberg right now. We barely made a dent in this game, considering how many loose, like, look at, I could not pick this up before. Interesting. Okay, so that was just a fluke that I clicked on that. So scratch that. Next time, because we have something to do here, we will start by looking into this puzzle and see where it takes us. So thanks again for joining tonight, and hope you all have a good evening, and we'll talk again soon. So until next time, take care. Bye.